Hey guys, Mikasa here, and today I will be reacting to Jearmin fanfiction. And, I am clearly a fan of Miraculous Ladybug, and, I've been writing a lot of fanfiction, which is where I've been recently. So if you guys want to go read my fanfiction, my name is Fire_Flight on Wattpad, capital F in Fire and lowercase f in Flight. So, yeah, let's get to it. This book is called Jearmin One-Shots by Illuminati, but all the I's in Illuminati are replaced with ones. So it's one loom, one nat, one. So go check them out. Okay. Here we go. Let's get started. The night was cold, the stars bright in the black sky, with the moon being the only light after the lanterns had blown out. The two teens walked along the cobbled path of the barracks, pebbles being crushed and turned into rubble under their feet, before hearing the caramel-haired male speak. Fuck. I can't believe I got kicked out of the cabin again because of Aaron. Ugh, just the thought of him makes my blood boil. Jean snarled, with red painted across his face and ears. This happened quite frequently. When Jean gets angry, his face and ears go red. It's actually kind of cute. Jean, you can't let him get to you this much. It's what he wants, and you can't feed into it. Otherwise, you'll end up like this repeatedly, Armin stated with a sigh following. Jean gave an almost dirty look and wiped the dry blood from his nose. The blonde looked at the black and blue shades beginning to appear on his cheekbone and directly under his eye. You guys really did a number on each other, huh? Armin said. No answer. So, you really didn't need to stand up for me like that back there. He tried once more. It took a minute or two for the male to respond. Aaron treats you like shit, he spat. The boy parted his lips as if he was about to speak and then closed them again. I thought it was about time someone stood up for you around here, said Jean. I really appreciate it. You honestly have no idea, Armin replied in a hushed tone. He heeded the fact that Jean's cheeks had turned slightly more red before he replied. It's whatever, but, you should get back to the cabin. I have to spend the night out here, he sighed. About that, I'm spending the night out here with you. It was partly my fault that you and Aaron had that disagreement, Armin stated. Jean stopped in his tracks and looked at him. No way. I can't let you do that. It wasn't your fault at all. It was that bastard's fault. Plus, it's fucking freezing out here, and I can't even feel my nose, he said with a light chuckle. I can handle it. I'll make a run back to the cabin to get blankets, he said with a smile curving his lips. You sure? Absolutely. We'll do this together. I'll be back in a flash. He grinned before beginning to jog back to the wooden cabin. The only thing that was going through Jean's mind was, damn, he has a nice ass. Okay, Armin does has a pretty nice butt. Just saying. Also, I just realized that I forgot to tell you guys what chapter this is in the Jearmin one-shots. This is One Cold Night. The Jearmin one-shots are by one loom, one nat, one, or Illuminati with ones instead of I's. Yeah. So, just so you guys know. As he looked the boy up and okay. And the only thing that was going through Jean's mind at the moment was, damn, he has a nice ass. As he looked the boy up and down, almost immediately after, he regretted it, and guilt overflowed his head. Oh my God, why am I like this? He breathed and ran his fingers through the layers of his undercut. Moments later, he saw the blonde render in the distance, with the blanket draped around his shoulders like a cape as they blew in the breeze. It reminded him of a child as he let out a short laugh, placing his palm over his mouth. I can actually see Armin doing that. Got him, he explained. No, sorry, I said that weird. Got him, he exclaimed. Yeah, I can see that. Is your inner 6-year-old finally breaking out of its shell? Ha, very funny, he chuckled, nudging Jean's shoulder with his own. I know, I'm hilarious, he smirked. About an hour later, it had gotten awfully chilly, even chillier than before. Armin and Jean were wrapped in their covers like a burrito. The blonde shivered uncontrollably, turning pale as snow, with only his rosy red cheeks and red nose having any sort of color. What's up? Sorry, the new rats were making noises. Okay. Hey Armin, are you okay? He asked in an almost whispering tone. I'm fine, he responded with the audible sound of his chattering teeth and steam escaping his blue lips. Jean bit the inside of his cheek lightly and looked at his crystalline eyes that burned him to the core, his hesitation almost getting the best of him as he considered the scheme he had in mind before inching closer and closer and closer to the boy. He sighed, grasping the blanket in one of his palms, wrapping his arm around the blonde, the blanket now covering them both. Jean? He stammered, not being able to tell if it was the cold doing this to him or the fact that he was now flustered. I think it's the fact that he's now flustered. Oh, by the way, guys, I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I am a huge shipper of Jearmin. I think that Jean and Armin would be great together. I mean, if it wasn't for our current situation, they'd be amazing together. Plus, also, it gets Jean off my back and Jean off Aaron's back. So, I'm fine with that. Plus, I may or may not know that Armin has a crush on him. Okay, anyways. Jean's cheeks tinged red as he stared in the opposite direction of Armin to try to conceal it. I think it'd be best if we tried to sleep, the male tried before Armin nodded in agreement. The blonde admired the male's body heat that radiated against him and noticed that Jean suddenly looked very woozy. He swallowed hard and glanced at Jean's free hand. He saw yellow bruising and scrapes along his knuckles, lightly caressing them, feeling the weight press against his shoulders. Jean was sound asleep with his defined cheekbone resting against the blonde's shoulder. Armin couldn't help but let a smile form on his small lips as he laced his fingers with Jean's. They rested like that for a moment or two before he felt the male give a light squeeze in return. That was really cute. Yeah, that was really cute. Okay, as you guys know, I always read smut in this, and we still have 10 minutes. I mean 10 minutes before I would like to end this video, so. Okay. This is called Jearmin Smut Collection by Chibi Levi Ackerman. capital C for Chibi in Chibi, capital L in Levi, and capital A in Ackerman. Oh, hello. Come on up here. Sorry, a dog wanted to join me. He'll just kind of be laying down from now on, possibly. Yeah, isn't that right, big boy? Okay. This one that I'm reading is called Touchy Feely. Sorry, I had to shift because I was falling off the bed. Armin squirmed uncomfortably. There's a hair on the screen. I can't touch my screen because it's a touch screen. Yeah. Armin squirmed uncomfortably in the college lecture hall as his boyfriend's roaming hand slithered up his thigh. His face was beet red, but as he tried to ignore the soft yet teasing touches he was receiving from his extremely impatient, horse-faced boyfriend, Jean. So in this one, they're already dating, which is good because they are really cute together. So I sometimes talk to Hanji, and we've been shipping people in the core. That's all I have to say. Let's just say I think there's a little bit more going on between Reiner and Bertold. Okay, out of character real quick, I just want to let you guys know that because I know that some people haven't watched Season 2 yet, I am going to steer away from Season 2 and try not to make any spoilers for Season 2. Okay? Okay, back into character. Okay. He felt himself jump when Jean's long, cold fingers slid up past the hem of his Trost University hoodie. He shot the male a very annoyed glare, which was countered by a look of innocence. Gritting his teeth, Armin chose to focus on the charts projected on the screen behind their professor, trying his absolute best not to lean into the touches that his boyfriend still teasingly caused. He gripped his pencil hard, squeezing his eyes shut as Jean's finger. This is actually very well written. Chibi Levi Ackerman has some nice talent. We'll see how the smut is, though. He gripped his pencil hard, squeezing his eyes shut as Jean's fingers got very close to an extremely embarrassing part of his body, which he was already having trouble keeping under control with the thigh and the stomach touches. He took a deep breath, trying to squirm away from Jean, but sadly, the hall was almost completely full, and he found himself with nowhere to go. After a few deep breaths, he realized Jean had stopped, and with a quick glance in his direction, concluding that he had given up and started to scribble down notes. After a few seconds of bliss, Armin felt something lightly brush against his hand. He looked down and saw that a folded-up piece of paper was lying in front of him. Curious, he unfolded it, his face glowing redder than he ever thought possible. I'm scared, because I read ahead a little bit. Okay. I was okay with the ship, and now I'm just I feel a little bit awkward, because this is my childhood friend we're talking about. I wish you'd grip me as tight as you grip that pencil. Okay. Armin couldn't help it. He gave out a very embarrassed squeak, only loud enough that Jean and a few people around them could hear, and balled up the paper, quickly shoving it into his bag and casting a very intimidating glare at Jean, who only wiggled his eyebrows at him, causing Armin to somehow blush harder. He was radiating embarrassment, and it only made it worse that he was actually starting to get a little turned on. The touching started back up again, much to Armin's dismay. His heartbeat quickened as he felt his body start to respond to the now more bold touches. He squeezed his legs together tightly, hating the fact that he was actually getting extremely turned on by the thought of actually getting caught like this. God, he hated Jean so much right now. Jean's hand made made it to the button of his jeans, causing Armin to quickly look at him. Okay. Why would you do this in a classroom? There are times and places for this stuff, Armin. We taught you better than this, precious cinnamon roll. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to make it so that I can still see it, but also you guys can still see my awesome Yuri on Ice stickers.
We can make our own.
Sorry about that. Someone came in and I had to pause the video, but now we're back. Okay. But seriously, don't do this inside of a classroom. Okay. Jean's hand made it to the button of his jeans, causing Armin to quickly look at him. His face red. Mind you, red is spelled like read a book. Sorry. Nothing against this author. This author's really good. This is the first mistake I've actually seen, so yeah. And his eyes pleading for him just to wait until they got back to their dorm where they couldn't be caught. Or could they? Wait, their dorm? Wait, does that mean that they share a dorm room? Because if they do, then that's actually kind of convenient. Just saying. Oh, by the way, for those of you who are wondering why I'm wearing glasses, I cannot read when I'm not wearing my glasses. So, yeah. Jean just smirked. Armin shoved his hand over his mouth to stop the moan that forced itself out of him from sounding through the hall. His eyes closed, and his blush creeped all the way down his neck to the tips of his ears. He bit down hard on his knuckle as Jean started, "Oh, okay." I hope that I am not in this lecture hall with them in this, because I feel very bad for the me in this. Because as much as I like Jean and Armin, some things need to stay in the bedroom. I mean, I'm in a bedroom right now. That's why I can read this. Okay. He bit down hard on his knuckle as Jean started to stroke him slowly, trying his best to keep his breathing under control as Jean touched him in all the ways he loved. I'm kind of getting really into reading this, and it's kind of sad. Not like really into it. I'm still kind of grossed out, but at the same time, I want to like read it. Like, okay. Getting back to this. Okay. Armin bites harder as John thumbed his head, forcing himself to keep his legs closed as to not give away that he was getting a hand job under the table in the lecture hall. Fuck, why did that thought have to turn him on so much? He can feel his heart beating wildly in his chest as Jean moves his hands teasingly slow, so slow that it's barely enough to even get Armin off. In all honesty, if he hadn't been in the situation he was right now, and he wasn't repeatedly reminding himself that this was happening in the lecture hall during class, he isn't quite certain that it'd do the job. Hissing quietly as Jean's thumb barely brushes against his head, using just enough pressure to get Armin closer to the edge, but not actually cause him to orgasm. Please tell me that I am not in a lecture hall with these guys. There is a time and a place, people. And in school, and during a class, much less, is not a good time. Okay? Just for future reference, because I know that some people are like, oh, in high school you guys can go to each other in a supply closet, because that's actually not true. All the supply closets are locked, and it's almost impossible to get a key. Not that I've tried, I'm just saying it would be near impossible to get a key. And not only that, but there is a time and a place. School, you need to learn, you need to get an education so you can get a job. Okay, back to the story. Armin grips onto his textbook tightly. He hides his face behind it as he tries with all his might to keep himself from rutting into Jean's hand. Who says rutting? I mean, it's a good word. But who says rutting? Okay, sorry. Honestly, he should get an award for self-control for this. Stop messing with your sister! Sorry, the rats are fighting. Honestly, he should get an award for self-control for this. At this point, Armin knows Jean's just torturing him. He could have gotten Armin to finish a while ago, but he's dragging it out. Letting out a shuddering breath, Armin hunches over, just begging his body to come so this can be over. At one point, he finds himself chanting Jean's name over and over in his head. He just wants Jean to get it on with. Let him finish and let him stop feeling so exposed. Just kind of imagining, like, you know how people like root for people during fights? It's like, I'm just imagining him going, Jean, Jean, Jean. That's not the way that he's saying it, though. It's... Okay, sorry about that. Another interruption. But yeah, he's not chanting it that way. Okay. He feels like this has been going on forever, and he can feel the ecstasy building up, but in the slowest and most frustrating way possible. By now, his legs have started to shake from the pure pleasure-filled torture his boyfriend is putting him through. A small whine leaves his lips, causing Jean to grin and Armin to hide himself more behind his book. He bites down on his lip hard as another burst of pleasure soars through him, making him stifle yet another moan with his hand. Okay, the only reason why I haven't stopped this yet is because a hand job is not that bad compared to other things that they could be doing. Because I don't want to read about this. I'm fine with like this, but I'm not, and this is not okay. For me, I personally feel awkward, but that's just me. Finally, Armin can feel the orgasm coming. His breathing gets a lot... Sorry, orgasm coming. Okay. His breath gets a lot heavier, and he can feel Jean pick up the pace just a bit. He opens his eyes slightly and realizes that he has actual tears in his eyes from the build-up to this moment. He squeezes his legs together and pulls hard at his hair as he finally releases into Jean's hand. His vision is blurry. After what he can clearly say is one of the best orgasms he has ever had, continues to shoot wave after wave of pleasure through his body. Caught up in the post-orgasm bliss, he looks tiredly over at Jean, who is discreetly wiping his hands with some tissues he'd brought in his bag. Why he had them, Armin didn't know, and honestly, he was way too tired and satisfied to care at the moment. I think that Jean was planning it, but okay. Go with it. After coming down from his high, he quickly scrawls out a note for Jean, making a face as he writes at the feeling of cold sperm in his boxers finally registers. Cancel your plans with Marco and Connie. I'm going to jump you when we get back to the dorm. That is it. Real quick, I'd just like everyone to appreciate the amazing Yuri on Ice stickers that I got from Hot Topic. Okay. That's all I wanted to show you. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, please leave a like and comment down below what ship you guys would like me to react to next. This ship wasn't as bad as the last two, and I think that's because it wasn't my brother, it was my friend, and to be honest, Armin talks about to me about sex life anyway, so it really wasn't that big of a deal this time. If it was Aaron, now that would be a different story. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, guys. Bye.